being the smartest. No, John says David Campos is actually the smartest guy on the board. We are so proud of David Campos. You are such a great leader for our community. You make us proud. You were so wonderful to me last year. You are a wonderful, wonderful person, and you are supporting John Avalos for mayor, so come tell us why.
First of all, let me say that I'm proud to be a queer who represents, who's here to support John Avalos. I know that the word queer seems a very sensitive word, but we are proud to be queer. And let me just tell you a little bit about why I'm here today, and it's so important for me, and I'm so happy to see so many of you here, because this is really about the future of San Francisco and the kind of city that we want to be, the kind of city that we need to be. Something happened at the Board of Supervisors. A lot has happened, as those of you who have been watching know. Something very interesting was said the last time that we had an election for president of the Board of Supervisors. The person who was subsequently elected president made this comment, which was an interesting comment. That individual said, you know, we are not here as supervisors to take positions. We're here to get things done. That was a very interesting statement. With all due respect to that individual, I do think that as supervisors and as elected officials, we are in City Hall to take positions. To take positions that reflect the values of who we are as a city. And when it comes to getting things done, there's nothing wrong with getting things done, but you have to ask yourself, well, who is it that you're doing it for? And what is it that you're doing? And that's why I'm here. Because I have seen with my very own eyes what John Avalos is about. And John Avalos is someone who has not been afraid to take those positions when those positions are difficult to take. John Avalos has taken those positions because it is the right thing to do. And what are those positions? I think that at the very core of those positions is this very important principle that I think truly defines who we are as progressives. And that is the idea that government has to work for everyone. And when we say everyone, we don't only mean the wealthy people in town. We don't only mean the folks who have a lot of things going their way, but we especially mean those who are disenfranchised, those whose voices are not often heard, those who are actually the ones who have the highest need. Those are the people that need to make sure that their interests are represented in City Hall. John Avalos has done that since the moment he got elected supervisor. Now, we are in a very tough fight, and this campaign is going to be a very tough campaign. And it's going to be a very tough campaign because we have big corporate interests on the other side that are doing everything possible to make sure that someone like John Avalos is not elected mayor of San Francisco. And the reason they're doing it is because they have a lot at stake. You know, you just have to watch a little bit about what happened with the Park Merced project, right? 1,500 units of affordable housing are going to be destroyed. And there are millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that are going to be made. And when you have that level of money at stake, you're going to do everything you can to make sure that someone who's going to go in there and actually represent the people is not elected. But guess what? It is not money, it is votes that win elections. And that's why we're here. We are here to make a commitment to you, John. We're here to make a commitment to ourselves, and we're here to make a commitment to the rest of the city that we want a San Francisco that works for everyone. That we want a San Francisco that recognizes the humanity and the dignity of every individual. That when we talk about people, we're talking about that undocumented worker who is getting paid, below minimum wage, who is not getting health care. That we're going to make sure that government represents all of us. That's what John Avalos is about. And why is it important that we're here in District 8, that we're here in the heart of the queer community? Because the queer community, from the get-go, has been a critical part of this progressive movement. You cannot have a successful progressive movement unless you have a queer presence. Harvey Milk showed us that. And I'll tell you that sometimes I do believe that the progressive movement itself doesn't get that. I do think that the queer, the LGBT angle is left out from time to time. Nothing personal, it just happens. But we are here to tell you, John, that this queer progressive community is going to be engaged. We are going to be active because this is our city. This is a city that belongs to us, not to the corporate interests that's spending so much money on this mayor's race. And this queer progressive community knows that when we talk about human rights, we're talking about all of us being connected. We're not here just to talk about the queer community. You can't be for the queer community if you're not for the African American community, if you're not for the Latino community. You cannot be for queer rights if you're not for immigrant rights. And we saw that, when Prop 8 won at the state level, it won because we did not do enough to connect the different communities that are connected. But you have that opportunity. You have an historic opportunity to, for once and for all, bring the diverse neighborhoods, the diverse communities that make up this amazing city together. You just have to look around this room to know that you're doing it. And I'm here to tell you that as a District 9 Supervisor, as a queer man of color on the Board of Supervisors, I'm here to tell you that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you are our next mayor. So thank you for being here, and I'm very proud to join you.